Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Psychic Hour with the Psychic Sisters. I'm Kristi Brower, here with my sister, co host, and partner in psychic stuff,
Okay.
Katie Whitaker.
Hello.
Hello, how's it going?
It's going good. Yeah. Yeah. We're starting an hour later because we were at our nephew's first freshman first football game
Ye-
of high school.
Yes, we
Yeah.
were.
It was
And it was
fun.
such nice
Beautiful day.
weather, and it was
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
And his team looks great. Yeah.
They, they made more points than the other team. That's what I knew.
Yeah.
So
They did.
you're
They
all
looked
talking about,
good.
well, if they're doing this or that. And I'm like, well, if they got, looks like they're getting the ball over the line into the end zone more than the other team. So they must be doing good.
Hey,
You
you
guys,
knew end zone.
football, I did
Good
know end
job.
zone.
Mm-hmm.
Football, not my jam. But of course, I love my nephew. So I'll go watch him
Yeah.
play.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
fun. So it's all good. Yeah, beautiful day. Wow.
Oh
We
my
have
goodness.
really
Yeah.
passed that uber hot stuff. Now we're into like pre-fall
Mm,
weather. There's only one day in the next 10
fabulous.
days that will be out of the 70s.
Yeah, it's great. All of you that live in areas where it's always around 70, 75 degrees, see, we get like 2 weeks of it a year,
Yeah.
but it's awesome.
Yeah.
So awesome. So, jump on in, join us in the chat. I know we're off time, so it may seem a weird time for us, but we hope you can join us in the chat. Yes, Erin, you are not late. Welcome, Renee.
Yeah.
We are excited because we're going to be talking about things you can do in regards to spirituality and energy healing for chronic pain.
Yeah.
And this is a requested show topic.
Yeah.
And Katie and I are both chronic pain warriors due to chronic illness.
Yeah.
And we've learned some tricks of our own and some ways to help our clients over the years that I think is going to be really helpful, don't you?
I think so. Yes, I do. I hope so. We've definitely learned many things over the years.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. What would you say if you personally, your number one lesson about your own chronic pain that has helped you a lot? What would that be?
Oh boy. Number one. I don't know if this is the number one lesson, but the one that's been really coming up for me is the spoon theory.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's a lesson. It probably isn't, but it's a technique.
Well, it
Um,
kind of is though, just an acknowledgement of you do have only so much energy,
yes.
so much
Yeah.
ability to manage this or that during the day, and that you have to respect that.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. And I'm going to post a graphic of the spoon theory for you guys. But uh, yeah. And that's true because, I have tended to push myself too hard over the years, do things I didn't have the energy to do, take on more work or whatever than I really had the energy to take on and just keep on doing it anyway.
Right.
And so, yes, there definitely is some energy there in not doing more than you really can do
Right.
and
Absolutely.
being willing to call it. Because here's the thing, I'm an empath, and a lot of you guys are too. And empaths really hate to let other people down. And there's a
Right.
very easy description for that because I feel what you feel. So if I let you down, not only do I feel my own disappointment or embarrassment or frustration, but I also feel yours. And
Right.
so then I have to pile your shit onto mine, and I hate the way that feels. So I'm more
Yeah.
willing to make myself trudge through something that I'm not up to doing so that I don't have to double down on that kind of emotional pain and just, discomfort.
Right.
A lot of you guys do the same thing. So let me share the spoon theory. So the spoon theory is a way to explain how much energy you have to give. And so the idea is that you have a certain amount of spoons. You wake up with a certain amount of spoons in the morning. And if you slept well and you wake up relatively pain free, maybe you have more spoons. But then again, maybe you don't. But
Right.
then you have to give some spoons up for everything you do.
Yeah.
So, that's everything you're doing, you're trading some spoons in. When you're out of spoons, you're done. You have to rest. You have to replenish. And everything takes a spoon or two or three or four, you know? And so it's a good way for me to explain to myself, you know, I'm
Yeah.
I'm out of spoons. I need a rest. But it's a
Mhm.
great way to explain to your family members too. Hey, this is how I'm feeling, it's how I'm doing. I am way out of spoons. In my family, I usually say I'm crashing. If I say I'm crashing, that
Mhm.
means I don't have any more energy to do whatever it is we're doing.
Yeah.
And my family knows that I am a trooper and I will usually push through until I absolutely can't take it any longer. So if
Right.
I say I'm crashing, they know I'm done. I'm really done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. I think that's a really important one to just give yourself permission that, when you run out, you run out.
Yeah.
And if stuff got done, great. And if it didn't, there's always tomorrow.
Uh-huh. I saw a keychain recently that said, "May you always have one more spoon." I thought, I love that so much.
Right?
I
That's very
understand that
sweet.
to the core. Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. I do too.
So what
So
about you?
so probably in the last couple of years, my biggest lesson has been stop doing things that hurt,
Ooh.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, I wear leggings and pull on pants.
Uh-huh.
And you know what? I don't care who knows it.
Yep.
I stopped wearing clothes that hurt. I have RA,
Mm-hmm.
it affects my hips. And so I have a difficult time wearing like jeans.
Oh
They're too
yeah.
stiff. It hurts to walk, like it's
Mm-hmm.
hard to walk. And I went, screw it. You know what,
Mm-hmm.
you guys? I also don't wear a bra anymore. Now, I am not well endowed, and so I realize that not everyone can do that, but I don't even wear a shelf bra cami anymore. I don't wear
Mm-hmm.
anything.
Yeah.
And you know why? Because I get like costochondritis in my ribs, and it
Mm-hmm.
did not matter what bra I wore. My ribs friggin' hurt all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have problems with my neck, and so a bra would pull no matter what I wore. I tried all different kinds of things, and one day I went, why am I doing this? Does it matter?
Yeah.
No, it actually doesn't, you
Yeah.
know? Do some people give me a little side eye in the store because it's obvious I'm not wearing a bra? I don't care.
Yeah.
They don't have to live in this body.
Yep.
So I don't do stuff like that anymore. Um, I don't work at my desk unless we are recording or live streaming
Mm-hmm.
because of my back pain, which I have multiple issues with my low back. And it's very hard for me to sit at a desk for a long time. So you
Mm-hmm.
know where I sit? On the couch with a whole bunch of my favorite squishmallows. Do you know what squishmallows are?
They're the best.
I'm going to put a picture up of them. Squishmallows are these like pillow stuffed animals,
Mm-hmm.
and I have possibly an embarrassing number of them.
Mm-hmm.
They're my favorite thing ever. And I have a whole bunch of them, and I sit in a big pile of them on the couch in my living room, and that's with a couch desk. I bought a desk that pulls right up to my couch, so I can. I have one of my laptops is there. Like I have all my stuff so that I can
Mm-hmm.
work right from there, and I just Oriana, there's no such thing as the bra police. Wear or don't wear what you want. Exactly. And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying you have to not wear a bra. I'm just saying if you are doing things or wearing things that hurt your body, stop.
Mm-hmm.
Really. You know what else I don't do? I don't shave anymore.
Yeah.
I don't. Because first of all, I have really sensitive skin, and so I always end up with some skin irritation from shaving. Also, it's hard for me to shave my legs because of
Mm-hmm.
my stuff. And I went, who cares? Why do I
Yeah.
care about this? You know what I do shave? My lip.
That's
Because
because you're
I'm 40,
40.
because
Yep.
I'm 45. And, I got to have that.
Mm.
However, I don't do other shaving that has become painful for me.
Mm-hmm.
And this is really the first summer that I have gone without shaving. And occasionally somebody will look down on, my fronts of my shins, pretty hairy. But you know what? I don't care. I
Yeah.
really don't. I've decided that taking good care of me is a lot more important than what anyone else thinks. And I think being in
Mhm,
my mid 40s, that's part of it. Just my age is like,
mhm.
I don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
But that's my big thing is, you know what? I don't do things that hurt anymore. We just went to
Yes.
this football game. Well, guess what? I am now one of those old ladies that carries around a pillow to sit on everywhere I go because I have
Mhm.
bursitis in my hip and it's on my sit bone, you guys. It's a
Yeah.
bitch. And so you know what I do? I sit on a pillow everywhere I go.
Sure.
But you know what? I didn't have any pain through the game. It felt great.
Yeah.
In case you're wondering, this is a squishmallow. I do, in
Yes.
fact, have this one. This is the octopus. I have I have one that is so big. His name is Leonard. And I kind of sit on him and then I have other pillows around him. Anyway, I have figured out, and I'm lucky enough to be able to work from home, that doing things like that for myself really makes my day and my life a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I think, yes, making a decision that you're done suffering is huge.
Right? Like, why am I doing this? This is miserable. This hurts. Why am I wearing clothes that are painful?
Mm,
Because
no.
other people. So what I've done, you guys might notice I wear a lot of tie-dye. I wear tons of
We're
tie-dye.
both in tie-dye
And I
tonight.
wear yeah, and I wear sort of like that's my thing now. And I wear like sort of mismatching tie-dye sometimes. And one time I was wearing an all matching rainbow tie-dye outfit that was like joggers.
Hmm.
We walked into Kohl's and this woman that was walking out of Kohl's looks at me, looks me up and down and says, "Well, you're colorful." And I just said, "Thanks." Because I realized, I kind of look a little like I'm in my pajamas a lot, and I don't care.
That's right.
Bras are a pain. Lots of women have cut out the boob cage during the pandemic, right?
Yeah,
When you work from
that's
home,
right.
you realize, oh, how unnecessary is this?
Hmm.
For some
Yeah.
people, not for everybody. There's no
Right. Your
judgment in
comfort
this.
level. Yeah, your
Yeah,
comfort level should be, yeah, the thing that you choose. Well, I agree with that totally. I haven't worn jeans in many years. I've said for years, I'm already fighting my body every day. I'm not going to fight my clothes. I
yeah.
also won't wear a winter coat. Won't. I don't
Mm-mm,
care
me
how cold
either.
it is. I will layer with hoodies and softer things, but a winter coat holds my arms down and is uncomfortable and hurts my shoulders. Not doing
Heavy.
it.
Pulls on my neck. Can't do it. Yep.
Yeah. Or and shoes too. But
Mhm.
yes. Well, I love that. I was thinking about my clients. Probably the number one thing I've helped my clients work through, besides the emotional, spiritual stuff, which we'll get to, but there is an underlying belief in a lot of people that you have to suffer.
Right.
And you might not even think that's a belief you carry consciously, but subconsciously it could be. And if you are
Hmm.
someone who is allowing suffering, physically specifically, you really need to examine that belief in yourself. That could easily come from your ancestry, that you have to suffer. And one of the things that I've discovered with my clients a lot, and believe me, I've been through it myself, is allowing subpar medical care. This is to
Mm.
me, an absolute epidemic in chronic pain patients
Right.
because you your doctors don't know what to do with you. It's very possible.
Hmm.
And or you have doctors that gaslight you. I will tell you guys that for 15 years, it didn't matter what I weighed. My doctors would tell me, well, if you just lose weight, you know,
Yep.
and it was on or gain weight. This is what's so crazy. I had a birth defect in my stomach. I had to have surgery when I was 17 to fix it. I was on a liquid diet for several months. I was very thin when I started college.
Yeah.
And a few months into my freshman year of college, I had an ear infection. And I went to the student health center. And I knew I had an ear infection. I get them quite a bit. I know what that feels like.
Yeah.
And the doctor there was convinced that I had an eating disorder because I was very small. I weighed like 105 pounds. I was tiny because I couldn't eat and, was under the care of a doctor, but that's where things were for me at that point. It took me 20 minutes to get the guy to look in my ear. He was so determined that he grilled me and grilled me. He practically made me take a lie detector test. And finally, I'm like,
Oh,
look, I'm here for an antibiotic. If you're going to give me that, great. If you're not, I'm going to go because I don't have an eating disorder. But again, it was all about my weight. It had nothing
right.
to do with what I was there for. And then fast forward a few years and babies and car accident that triggered a series of health issues and things, and weight being gained and being a little overweight, going to the doctor in chronic pain and him telling me, well, you just need to lose weight. And then trying that for years and years and having more babies and weight bouncing up and down and all over the place and going back to the doctor. Well, no labs, no scans, no looks at why is this woman always, not always, because I'd go long stints and not go to the doctor and just suffer in silence because I thought they couldn't help me. Why? Because I was going to the same damn one over and over who would just say the same thing. Well, I mean, if you could just lose some weight. Until finally, in my mid 30s, I went to a female doctor, a PA, or sorry, a nurse's, what am I saying? A nurse practitioner
Hmm.
who did labs and said, well, let's see. You're having a thyroid problem. Your gallbladder's shot and needs to come out right away. And you have rheumatoid arthritis. No wonder
Yeah.
you're in so much pain.
Yeah.
And it was the most infuriating and freeing thing I'd ever heard because it suddenly wasn't just all my fault because I was fat. It
Right.
was my body is struggling, and that's probably why I'm fat. And
Right.
then subsequent diagnoses that have helped me understand my body better. But I couldn't believe that it took me 15 years to kick that doctor to the curb. But it did because I was raised in a culture and a religion that doctors were akin to the authority,
Right.
the male patriarchy. And I was going to these doctors, they were telling me these things, and I believed them. And I didn't think I deserved better. And when I finally figured that out, I was so damn mad I could hardly stand it.
Right.
And since then, I've never looked back. But that's one of the things that I hear from my clients all the time. Well, the doctor said, well, have you considered getting a second opinion? I don't know. Should I? Yes, you should.
Yeah.
I I was always really afraid to do that. I thought in some way it was an affront to the doctor who I didn't dare insult. That's complete BS. This is your body. Wow. This is something that we have to buck and get over. Not that we have to be jerks to doctors or anything like that. I'm not saying that. And I'm not anti science. But if your doctor doesn't hear you and doesn't listen to you and doesn't help you, you should find somebody else.
Yes. Get a new doctor. And that that's
Yeah.
probably the most important thing we can, we're going to get to the metaphysical parts, but we got to get to this part first. That is so important. However you choose to seek out treatment for yourself, if you don't have
Mhm.
someone who's listening to you, kick
Yeah.
them to the curb. They
Yeah.
work for you.
Yeah. David
Yeah.
said women need female doctors. David, at the risk of sounding really sexist, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, I
I
do
all
too.
three of my doctors now are women. Two of
Yeah.
them are nurse practitioners. They have taken better care of me and heard me than any male doctor I've ever had. And
Yeah.
I'm not trying to drag male doctors, but that's been my experience for sure.
It
Yeah.
really has this idea that, women, it's just your emotions or your weight.
Yeah.
Guys, when I was 40, after fighting 25 years of doctor challenges, I was diagnosed with a rare immune system disease that I've had my whole life,
Mhm.
and none of those damn doctors ever found.
Mhm.
And it's rare, but it was always the same thing.
Mhm.
It's your weight, it's, whatever.
Yeah.
And it turns out that, I'm very lucky that I didn't get a serious infection and die before they
Yeah.
ever figured it out.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So yeah, advocating for yourself is so important.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask Shell in the chat, you said you had a nerve knee, a knee ablation, a
Yeah.
knee nerve
Today.
ablation. Was that today?
I believe that
How
was
did it
today.
go? Wow. I
Yeah.
have them in my back pretty regularly, but wondering how you're doing.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah. Yes, Kevin said, remember my meningitis after effects.
Yes.
Being told I had no long term side effects, even though he knew damn well he was having long term side effects. Took 2 years and multiple neurologists to find someone who said, yeah, yes, these are certainly side effects of meningitis. Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And that's just the thing. I mean, you've got to have people in your court that listen, that
Hmm.
believe you. And if you don't, you keep looking until you do, and you get some support, you know? You have to, there are, I'm not a huge fan of Facebook these days. However, there are some great chronic pain and chronic illness groups on Facebook. There are also
Yes.
some on Reddit that are really good, but getting some support from people who experience
Hmm.
similar issues to you
Oh, yeah.
and continuing to search for the right doctor, so
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
The first one is rough. They do 3, just make sure they don't cripple you. Yeah,
Yeah.
they are rough, Shell. I'm sorry. I hope that it works
Mhm.
for you, though.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mary Beth said that her doctor also was focused on weight with no help. That's the one that kills me with doctors that are like, well, you should just lose weight. And when you go, okay, I'll do it. Tell me how. I got nothing. You know?
Right, exactly.
So many times I've said, I'm with you, I'm on board, tell me how, and they go, right? Because
Yeah,
they know what they're telling you to do may or may not work at all.
right.
And yeah, very, very frustrating.
Weight loss is incredibly difficult to do, and especially
Yeah.
if you're, um, like I'm a diabetic, I don't have a thyroid, I have rheumatoid arthritis.
Yeah.
I'm an insulin dependent diabetic, and
Yeah.
nothing makes you gain weight like insulin, you
Hmm.
know. It's yeah, just that game that you play all the time.
Yep.
But I think ultimately what you have to do is you have to be on your team. You have to be in your corner
Yeah.
on this. You have to be, first of all, the person to believe yourself and to
Yes.
believe in yourself.
Absolutely.
And it's so easy to get discouraged. Trust me, I've
Hmm.
gone, a long period of time in between seeing doctors in the past.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I get it totally. Well, I think there's also a level of learning how to love and accept your body for what it is.
Yeah,
For the longest time, I felt like I wanted to wear a t-shirt that said I'm with stupid, because I'm like, my spirit and my body are not connected. This
yeah,
bullshit that's going on over here, I want nothing to do with.
yeah,
And when I finally gave myself permission to be okay with the body I was living in and take care of it, and I was taking care of it, I was so mad.
right.
So mad. I don't want to be trapped in this. I don't. But yet again, I'm here
Yeah,
and I get to do the work I do and I get to be here with my family and I get to have all of the joy and the laughter I get to have in my life. And that's something to celebrate and be grateful for and take good care of and cherish. But I did
right.
for a long time. I thought, I don't even want to, I don't want to claim that.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's a part of going through healing, spiritual healing with chronic pain is to find a way to accept your body for what it is, where it is, so that you can do better by yourself.
yeah. I think working also on acknowledging that you are not being punished
Oh, that's a big
because
one.
it can really feel that way.
Mhm.
But
Yes.
there's not a direct correlation between you're a bad person, that's why you're in pain. It's not true at all.
Mhm. Yep. Yep. Definitely. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oriana said the main reason I hated living in Cheyenne, Wyoming was that I would be really sick all the time and all doctors cared as if I was pregnant and I wasn't. She moved here to where she is now and got healthy right away. She just needed to get off that medication. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Lauren. Oh, what were you
Oh,
gonna
I
say?
was just looking at Mary's comment that she had to bring her husband in to verify that she was eating correctly and exercising. Yeah, before they would
Yeah.
believe her. Lauren, I think I have the same lymphatic disorder that you have. Yep,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
understand you completely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Lauren says, I have a
Mhm.
progressive lymphatic disorder that means I cannot lose weight in certain areas, and I'm
Mhm.
always obese according to the BMI. I'm so grateful for the doctors I have
Yeah.
that get it. I have certainly had a few that didn't, and everything was wrong with me was weight related according to them.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
so
Oh,
challenging.
we are soul sisters, Lauren.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yep. No, our dad did not serve in Vietnam, but he did have rheumatoid arthritis.
You did.
Yep.
Yeah, and we both have it too. And our
Yeah.
sister has Sjogren's,
Mhm.
so definitely runs in the
Yeah.
family.
Yeah. And Kevin, I think it's a good point. He said he wanted to mention being profiled. In his case, he was profiled by a doctor with general anxiety and as being a hypochondriac, and that's really followed him
Mhm.
and given other doctors permission to not listen to a word he was saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just crap. And until you
Mhm.
find a doctor who sees you as a human being, you have to keep looking. And it's not easy and it's not cheap,
No,
but
but
it
I think
generally
the term
means
hypochondriac is a very unfair one that is
oh,
uh, most usually used out of context.
yes.
And is it a diagnosis any of us are really qualified to give,
Mhm.
and creates a place where people don't get medical care because either their families think they're a hypochondriac or their doctor does,
Right.
and yeah, is not it isn't a real thing.
Yeah.
Back when fibromyalgia first started to get diagnosed, and that
Oh,
was what, about 25 years ago
yeah.
and 30 years ago ish, and there was a real profile that was finally developed for, pain spots and pressure points, and there was a real diagnosis that was falling forward in fibromyalgia and in chronic pain or chronic fatigue syndrome.
Yeah.
And it was the medical community was so divided on it, you're just a hypochondriac, it's all in your head. And then rheumatologists going, no, this is happening. It's real. This is happening in people's bodies. But
Yeah.
how many people were dismissed as being lazy, as being hypochondriacs, as being drug seeking, that were full of pain in their bodies and did
Yeah.
not get the medical care that they needed? It happened
Exactly.
all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Bianca
Yeah.
said, I'd like to clarify my comment. For some, chronic pain and suffering becomes such a way of life that you think you don't deserve better. I think
Yeah.
that's absolutely true, especially when you get treated poorly, like poorly by the medical community.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yep.
absolutely. And we totally get what you mean. And it's true.
Hmm.
It's true. And then we have to fight that mindset all the time and not take it on and not believe it and not agree with it.
Uh-huh.
And that's a challenge.
Yeah. It absolutely is.
Right,
Yeah.
like Kevin saying, remember when being gay was
Hmm.
considered a mental disorder or sexual deviance,
Yeah.
things change over time,
Yes.
and but you're right, things change over time, and so,
Hmm.
and I was one of those I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia in 1997 after a car accident, and the rheumatologist who diagnosed me gave me 2 prescriptions and said, "You don't need to come back, I'll keep refilling your meds, there's nothing I can do for you."
Yep.
And then the primary care that I saw at the time told me that 10 years ago, people like you were just hypochondriacs.
Yeah.
So I went easily 10 years without seeing a doctor at all. So I was
Yeah.
like, fuck you guys, man. Not doing
Well,
it.
we both kind of swing back and forth between Western medicine and Eastern medicine, holistic medicine. And
Yes.
I believe that there can be a good balance of the two. I
Yes.
really shy away from the belief that all Western medicine is bad or that all holistic medicine is ridiculous and snake oil. I don't think that's true. I think there's a good
No.
balance there between the
Mhm.
two, but I think that it's okay to seek both out. In the
Right.
new agey world, there was a real while there where it was such a stigma. If you went to the doctor, people were like, what's wrong with you? There's an oil for that. And you know what? Maybe there is. And maybe you should use that oil, but you should still find out what your diagnosis is. You should still be
Right.
tracked by a doctor if you have something serious going on. I just hate medical shaming. The idea that you don't get to seek out the medical care that you personally need because someone else thinks that's not very
Well,
ascended of you or some stupid thing.
and why can't you get all of it? Like my
Right.
spine doctor that I go to for radio frequency ablation and shots in my back, they also do acupuncture. So I get
Mhm.
acupuncture there and I get injections and radio frequency ablation. I mean, it's all in the same office, which I think is amazing. But I think it's okay, like you're saying, like make your
Yeah.
choice. I went all in on the alternative side for a very long time.
Yeah, me too.
And then when I was diagnosed with, well, I had to have two surgeries in 1 year. I had to have, I grew a giant thyroid tumor, and
Mhm.
my sinuses were so packed with infection that I was breathing through a pinhole. And so
Mhm.
I had thyroid and sinus surgery in one surgery. And 6 months later, I had to have my gallbladder out. And I went, I've been doing all this holistic stuff for a while, and I don't think it's working. Because it wasn't that I was
Yeah.
taking all my supplements. I was
Mhm.
seeing my chiropractor. I was doing all this stuff.
Mhm.
And then the next year, I was diagnosed with a primary immune deficiency, which really was the underlying reason for all of those things. And there is one treatment for that illness, one, and it is regular plasma infusion. I get a weekly plasma infusion and will for the rest of
Mhm.
my life. And I kind of had to go the other way. And I still take supplements. I still do energy healing and get a massage every week. And now I'm getting acupuncture, but I definitely had to mix the two in order to find a better place.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
And that's good. It's good to meet in the middle. It is. Yeah.
it is.
It was an interesting path for me after I had been diagnosed with fibromyalgia. And yes, same doctor put me on the same stuff. I was diagnosed about a year after Christy. And I did the muscle relaxers and I did the pain meds for a while, the sleeping meds, and I didn't feel good. I felt better pain wise, but I didn't feel like me. And I wanted to have babies. I was in my mid 20s and well, early
Right.
20s. And so I stopped taking that stuff and I went to a holistic chiropractor in my town. And this was the first time I had been exposed to muscle testing.
All
And
right.
he would have you lay on your stomach on a treatment table and uh, he would lift your foot up and have you push on your on his hand, and I thought it was the craziest thing I'd ever experienced. He was whispering. He'd hold your foot up and he'd go push 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 on my hand, and then he'd go and he's pushing on your
Well,
hand, and I'm like, what
I
the
mean, he
hell?
was a really weird guy.
Totally weird dude. But after a few minutes he said to me, so you've got a mother-in-law that doesn't like you very much, huh? I was like, what? And he said, your mother-in-law, you don't have a good relationship with her. And I said, no, she hates me. And he was like, I know, it's really affecting your health. And I was like, what? And the more we worked together, the more he said, you really should get some distance from her and quit worrying so much about what she thinks about you because her hatred of you has been really hard on your health. And I was dumbfounded, but he learned that from muscle testing me and
Yeah,
asking what was going on in my life. And then
yeah.
there were other things, my job. He really pinpointed, he said, how much longer are you going to work at that job? And I said, well, I don't know. And he said, well, you should quit because it's really hurting your health. And he was right. I worked at Kmart. And when I quit Kmart, my health improved exponentially.
Yeah.
Was it being on my feet all day? Was it being under all of those fluorescent lights? Was it working with a whole slew of people that hated their jobs and hated themselves and hated each other? I think it was kind
Mhm.
of all of it, you know? But I started feeling so much better when I quit working there. It made a
Yeah,
big difference for me. So, but that was the first exposure I had to this idea that the energy of other people was affecting me physically so greatly.
yeah.
I I knew I had gifts. I was operating under some of my psychic gifts, but the energy of my own health and the people around me, that was my really big introduction to it. And that's when I started making some changes in people, that I spend my time with. And
Right.
that's when I quit worrying so much about what other people thought of me because I was certainly raised as a people pleaser, who
Mhm.
had to be liked, you know? And that's been a hard one for me to let go of. Still is, honestly, sometimes.
Yeah.
Uh, some of these mean comments we get on YouTube, man, they cut me to the bone. I have to, I have to consciously let go of those things. But I think that being on that part of the journey has been really, from a spiritual and emotional level, has made a huge difference for me in my health and just my overall pain and functioning and quality of life.
Yeah. So important. And yeah, that idea that acknowledging yourself as an empath, because
Yeah.
there's a real pattern between chronic pain sufferers and being an empath. Like
Uh-huh.
we all are. And part of it is that we are especially attuned to how other people feel because we experience suffering and
Mhm.
we then I think are better at you know at identifying it in other people.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, for 100%, um, recognizing when it's the people or situations that you're in that are contributing. I've
Hmm.
definitely been there myself.
Yeah.
Mary says my health improved when my mother died. She stressed and really was feeding off me. She drained people. Yeah,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
yeah.
And it's okay to acknowledge that, right, Mary? That's
Mhm. It is.
okay. Bianca said my Nana was a folk healer, and she knew when she could heal us with herbs and when it was time for antibiotics. It's a balance. And I love that. I love that. Paula said I use Reiki on my medications. Me too. Me too.
Mhm.
One thing I had heard for years from other clients was I hate taking medicine. I feel like I'm putting all this poison in my body or all of this, these chemicals in my body. And how can it be good? And when our parents were on chemo, because our parents did chemo at the same time,
Yeah,
and we would sometimes go with them, or our mom was a Reiki master and she would do this for herself. She would envision that bag of chemo that was dripping into her port as light,
yeah,
light running into her body to, to cast out the darkness, to expand in her body and go into the dark places and eliminate the cancer. And that made a huge difference for her, rather than people that will tell you, and I've heard this from clients lots of times, I just sit in that chair and I just watch that poison running into my veins and I just hate it. And I go,
yeah,
what if we reform that? What
yeah,
if we reform that for your body, for your mind, for your spirit, for what you're allowing your body to accept in that chemo? Yeah.
yeah. Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
and one thing that because I've heard that before too, medications are chemicals. You guys, everything's a chemical. An apple is full of chemicals. Like everything is a
Well,
chemical. We are chemicals. Like
hmm.
literally, chemicals make up everything on this planet.
Hmm.
And medications, yes, are chemicals. So are herbs, and
Right.
and there are plenty of medications that were that are based on a plant or some kind of naturally occurring something.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of silly that we get and I understand it with chemo because of what chemo does inside the body. But this fear of chemicals that I hear in the metaphysical community cracks me up because everything's a chemical. I mean, did
Yeah.
you eat anything today? Because if you did, you ate some chemicals.
Yeah.
You know?
That shouldn't scare you. It shouldn't have to scare you. Yeah, we've been
Yeah.
scared. Yeah. So, Chris, I think you bring a really, really good question to the table. She says, do you think being an empath causes these immune type issues, body overload? I absolutely do. Yep. I also think that we are in an interesting time. I'm amazed at how many of my clients tell me that they are a mystery patient, that they
Mm,
that nobody knows what to do with them, because
right?
I've
So
experienced that
many.
my whole life, and I know
Right.
so many of you guys have as well.
Yeah.
And I think that it's my personal belief that we're in a period of our own evolution where our spirits have ascended or evolved faster than our bodies have,
Yeah.
and our bodies are vibrating quite a bit lower than our spirits are. And there is a discombobulation there that is causing a lot of autoimmune disorders. We were at an immune conference a few years ago that one of the doctors said that there are more than 350 autoimmune disorders in the US that have are not being diagnosed in patients because this is all such new medicine.
Yeah.
The human body has changed a lot and doctors are struggling to keep up with what it all means and what to do for us. I thought that was really interesting. It was forward thinking on his, part. But I
Hmm.
agree with that, Chris. I One thing you see in empaths all the time are thyroid issues. All the
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Hmm.
Now, if you're an
It's
empath
true.
and you don't have thyroid issues, don't feel bad. But
Yeah, that's all good. Don't worry about it.
yeah,
It is true that I think that yeah, there's a mismatch in evolution between the body and the mind. There is also, though, sort of the dark side of this in the metaphysical world, and that is the idea that you have thought your illness into being, that
yes.
you have caused it, you have brought it upon yourself
Mhm,
by your thinking. And
mhm.
I'm going to tell you right now that is 100% bullshit.
Yep.
And this idea that we need to blame ourselves and live with guilt and shame because we're sick, no,
Yeah.
no, that is wrong. That is
Mhm.
100% wrong.
Yep.
And it's very, very frustrating to me when I hear people, oh, I'm just, I got to be careful about my negative thoughts because it's going to make me sicker. No, it's not, you guys.
Mhm.
And we all have negative
Yeah.
thoughts.
And
You
we
just
all
don't live
bought
in
that,
them.
right? 10 years ago or so, we all bought that. That was the Louise
Right.
Hay way of thinking.
It
And,
was. And we did all buy that.
and God bless Louise Hay. I still love her work a lot. But this idea that it's your fault, that it really came home for us when we owned our metaphysical store. We were teaching all this energy work. We were practicing all this energy work and lots of other, mindfulness and lots of new agey spiritual topics. And both of our parents were diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah.
And we would have people come into our store and say, well, what did they do? What thought caused that? You just need to clear the thought pattern and the cancer will go away. Well, there was a kind of energy work being taught and practiced in our town at that point that was really big on that.
Yeah.
And that you just had to, cancel, clear, delete that thought, and then that would go away. But when you tell someone who's just been diagnosed with breast cancer that that's their fault because they must have had some mindset or way of thinking that caused that, you're a monster. You
Yeah.
know, you're a monster. It's not true. And it's incredibly cruel to
It
bring
is.
that kind of thought to the table. And I'm not devoid from it. I fell for it for quite a while too, But as in New Age and truth seekers, we have to get away from this idea
Yeah.
that you have thought your way into illness. I have had clients that wanted to know what they did, what they thought to break or to cause their broken leg. That they broke in an accident. You didn't cause that. You didn't do that to yourself. You were in an accident. That's what caused it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I this is it's a soapbox issue I know for both of us because
Very much
it's
so.
so cruel and unfair. Yeah.
It is. And unfortunately, it gives us the idea that we have a lot more power than we do when it
Yeah.
comes to these things. Because I was
Yeah.
born with some bum genetics. I don't have any
Yeah.
control over that.
Yep. But
So,
what do you do have control of? You have control of the way you treat yourself.
yes.
You have control of the medical care that you seek to the degree that you can. I mean, I know insurance and poverty and things like that come into play, so I don't want to
Right.
make that as a blanket statement. But you have control of what you eat and how you rest and how you speak up and insist on being treated and cared for. There are things that you can control. You can't control your genetics. You do I think you can do things like energy work to offset those things? Yeah. Do I think that you can do things to help make your situation better? Absolutely. Do I
Definitely.
and I believe in ancestral clearing and ancestral healing, but I also know that your body's going to do what it's going to do and you're going to have to find a way to love yourself through it because that's what's
Mhm.
real.
It
Yeah.
is. It is what's real.
Yeah.
And one of the things, if I had one spiritual, energetic recommendation, it is to do things that make you feel good to keep your vibration high. The higher
Yes.
your energy body vibrates, the better you heal, the better
Yes.
you feel, the less pain you have. So
Hmm.
that can include things like guided imagery meditation,
Hmm.
solfeggio frequencies, and binaural beats.
Hmm.
If you're not following me over on TikTok or Instagram or Clapper, come follow me. I
Hmm.
am um, I am eclectic healer, and I'm doing a lot of work right now with fractals and binaural beats and um, solfeggio frequencies. It's vibrational. It's healing with music and vibration, really, and with like sacred geometry through fractals.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
listening to music that you love,
Hmm.
walking when you can, some
Hmm.
kind of physical activity, whatever you can
Hmm.
do comfortably.
Yeah.
Like I said, don't do things that hurt yourself. Yeah,
Hmm.
Mary, I'm paying for using
Okay.
tuning forks in
Tuning
music
forks.
meditation.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Singing
the
bowls.
vibrational stuff is so powerful. Singing
Yeah.
bowls, like Katie does these amazing
Mhm.
singing bowl meditations. The
If you don't
vibrational
have a
stuff is
singing bowl
amazing.
and you have chronic pain, get a singing bowl.
Yeah.
It helps to really move stuck energy out of your body that
Hmm.
can really help relieve some of your discomfort.
Yeah.
You can put your singing bowl on your body as long as it's not too close to your ears because, we don't want to break your eardrums.
Right.
But say you have, a, a spot in your back or your side or somewhere else that constantly balls up and twinges. You can put a singing bowl right on your body and chime it, or right next to your body and chime it, and help
Hmm.
yourself to release that trapped energy. And that does make a big difference.
It
Yeah.
really does. It really does. And if you can't have a singing bowl, then look up some singing bowl meditations on YouTube.
Mhm.
I mean, using vibration and doing things that make you feel good to keep your vibration up is probably the very best recommendation I have.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I do energy healing for chronic pain, and I'm doing the
Hmm.
same thing. I'm
Yeah.
raising your vibration. I'm
Hmm.
clearing out stagnant energy, that kind of thing. Katie and I
Yeah.
both do that, and that's
Oh,
another
yeah.
way.
Absolutely.
But the higher you vibrate, the less pain you're in.
Absolutely.
And it's amazing how quickly you can shift pain when you shift your vibration.
Hmm. Yep. Well, and then paying attention to things in your life. Example, you're in constant pain, your stomach is always hurting, your shoulders are always hurting, or whatever. You go on vacation from work and you feel amazing the whole time. You go back to work and the pain starts back up. There is your sign. Look,
Yep.
I know it's not just an easy answer financially to say go quit your job. I get it. But you guys, life is too short. Life is too short to work long term at jobs that are damaging your health.
Yeah.
It is. And if that means you need to figure something else out, do it. And if that takes you a little time, fine. Don't wait until you're in an emergency situation if you can. But don't work at jobs that destroy your health. Don't. You don't have to. There's options out there. There has to be. But I get this from people a lot that are working at jobs that are just absolutely destroying them physically, emotionally, spiritually, and they have built their walls up to where they're stuck. You're never really stuck. I know. I know that from a financial place, yes, sometimes it takes some planning, sometimes it takes some help from others and things like that to get to a better place. But seriously, you guys, if it's your job, get the hell out of there.
Yeah. Also, if it's your relationship,
Yep.
get the hell out of there. Those
Hmm.
are the two places that if
Yep.
you are in a lot of stress,
Hmm.
those are the two places that will create chronic
Yep.
pain in your life.
Yep.
And if you are dealing with, illnesses, you are, having that much stress in your life in a bad job or in a bad relationship
Hmm.
is the best thing, the quickest thing you can do to feel better.
Hmm. Well, and that includes not just romantic relationships, but familial relationships, toxic friendships, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People with chronic pain need to have the best friggin' boundaries possible.
And a lot
And
of
trust me,
times
I know that
they
because
don't.
I've been working on having better ones for 20 years.
Yep, absolutely. But for you, find the things that do make you feel better. And if something that we suggest or that you've learned in the past doesn't help, stop doing it. Keep
Yeah.
exploring, keep looking. I know for me personally, sometimes certain things really help me and sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Sometimes for me, it is as simple as just taking a little break, relaxing in my recliner, drinking some water or some tea, and just breathing for a few minutes. Sometimes that's all I need, you
Yeah.
know? Other times, maybe I do need some energy work, or maybe I do need a session with the singing bowls or the drum. The drum for me is huge
Yeah.
in pounding a medicine drum and letting that, bang some energy out of you that is stuck and needs to go. But you
Yeah.
really have to explore some things for yourself and decide what really works for me and what doesn't. And if it doesn't, that's cool. We're all different. We can't tell you specifically exactly what's going to help you from day to day. You're the only one that can know that.
Yeah. Although I do want to do a group healing for pain
Yes.
before we run out of time. So why don't we do that? And then if you have any other questions, throw them up in the chat and we'll finish with them.
Great.
But let's do this group healing really quickly. So everybody just close your eyes and relax. Pay attention to what you feel in your body. I want you to just focus on whatever sensations you feel in your body as I do this healing. And this is a group healing, so I'm just sending it out to everyone. So even if you're hearing this after it was originally recorded, you will still experience it because that's my intention. But I'm going to do something that I call a gold wrap. So gold energy, all the different colors of energy have different meanings and different purposes when you're a healer. And gold energy is like the base energy in your energy body. Your energy body can take gold and turn it into anything else. So it's like the original energy, basically. So what I'm doing as I'm talking is I'm wrapping you each up in gold light. I'm going to start at your feet and wrap you up all the way up to the top of your head, like in a cocoon of gold light. And this is one of my favorite kind of quick actions for somebody who's really in pain and struggling. Because this gold energy is just going to go wherever you need it. So if you've got back pain, neck pain, shoulder, jaw, hip, knee, internal organs, migraines, foot pain, hand pain, anywhere in your body that you have pain, this gold light is going to go to that place. Your body's going to absorb it and take that gold light to wherever you need it. And it's going to supply your body with some extra original source energy to heal or soothe or to help recover in that area of your body. And I love this because if you've been a chronic pain sufferer for a while, you know that where you hurt doesn't necessarily correlate with what is causing the pain. Like I have nerve pain down one leg from some problems in my low back. Like the pain is in my leg, not so much my back. So you think, oh, I need to heal my leg. No, actually, I need to heal my back, if that makes sense. So that's why I like this for a group setting is that we can I can just give your energy body whatever it needs to take it and run with it. Go to the area in your body that you are in pain. So normally during a session like this, I don't talk this much. I'm doing that because we're live streaming. But the whole time, whenever I work on somebody, I just ask you to pay attention to what you feel in your body. You're going to feel the movement of energy somewhere as some kind of sensation. And there's no right or wrong when it comes to that. Everybody's different. But it does become an indicator for you. Like, hey, oh, I can tell that the energy's moving, that I'm getting healing because I feel that particular sensation. So I'm just going to ask you all to just take a couple of deep breaths. And open your eyes. Nice. Curious if you want to share with us what you felt during that healing. Where did you feel in your body?
That was really awesome.
Kevin says the gold energy turned into turquoise for him. See, I love
Nice.
that. It just turns into whatever you need.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Oriana says the Golden Girls helps me. Oh, and you bring up a very important point, which is humor.
Humor. Yep. Well, and happy
You gotta have it.
distractions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Happy distractions.
Yes. So important. And yes, funny things.
Hmm.
For me
If
too.
I have to do mundane things that hurt me, bother me, that I don't like doing, I always listen to comedy
Yeah.
because it helps me to just focus on something else and get through the thing that I didn't really want to have to do. Yep.
Yeah.
But I think happy distractions when you have chronic pain are hugely important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They definitely are. That's a big part of it. And laughing um is really a great way to raise your vibration. It literally, it's like doing a breathing exercise. It brings your vibration up.
Uh-huh. Well, you're releasing some endorphins in your brain that are feel good hormones.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
JR says for me it's music. Me too.
Hmm.
I'm all on the vibrational plane. I
Yeah.
got to feel it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That is super
Oh, Shell said
important.
it lasted a long time and then started to disappear. And she started to worry she was doing it wrong. But you assured her that, nope, that's just how it played for her.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
there's no wrong way to receive healing.
No.
It's just going to be
Yeah.
different for everybody.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, if you want to work with me directly, if you're struggling with something, you can, if you just go to our website, truecrimeparanormalpodcast.com, go down to the middle of the page where it says get a reading with Kristi, just click on that link. It takes you to my calendar. You can
Yep.
get on my calendar and we can start working together and see what we can do to get you feeling better. Because we're just at the tip of the iceberg here. We could
Oh,
have,
yeah.
10 hours of conversations about this stuff.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yep. And you can find me over at one2listen.com. And so it is a hotline that I work for, and I'm contracted with them. So that's the only way to get work from me. But just go to one2listen.com and look for me, Katie Weaver, and I'd be happy to work with you guys anytime. I
Yeah.
The takeaway for me, quit suffering in silence.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
No, speak up and stop doing stuff that hurts.
Yep, you are worth more than that. There's only one you, and the world needs you, and you need you. So don't suffer in silence anymore.
No. I finally realized that I can't carry the laundry baskets up and down the stairs in our house anymore because it's very painful.
Oh, yeah.
And I just finally, all I had to do was just say to my wife and son, I can't do that anymore.
Hmm.
And they were both like, okay, no problem. And they carry the laundry baskets up and down the stairs now. And they're both awesome about it. And,
Uh-huh.
you just have to remember to ask for help.
But you've done it forever and suffered through it. Oh, yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
stupidly.
Laundry? Laundry is a bitch. Laundry's painful for me too. It's always
It's a
one that
hard
I
one.
go, like, I'll sit here and fold the laundry, all of it. That's no problem for me. But hauling it around and switching it, doing
Yeah.
that headstand in the washer to get it all out and move it
Yeah.
downstairs to the dryer.
Right. That's a little tougher,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah. But again, quit suffering in silence. God damn it. We all do
Yes.
it. We need to stop. Yeah.
Yeah, we certainly do.
Hmm.
Well, you guys, we are out of time, but you know it. We are the Psychic Sisters, and we are usually true crime paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. We will be back this weekend with some pop ups, and then we will be back
Yes, we
next
will.
week with brand new cases. So you're going to want to watch for that. Our new subscription is our new membership is now available on YouTube. So
Yes.
this will be a true party that we will hold once a month. It's a live stream for members only. You get to throw cases at us and we will cold read them on the show
Yep.
live. So if you want to sign up for that, click join on the homepage of our YouTube channel. And that is the first option there. So that's brand new for us. We're just starting that this month coming in September. And if you're
Hmm.
a Spirit School member, you already get that. That's a new perk you get for Spirit School. But
Yep.
if you're not, you can join this separately if you'd like to. But we're going to have a lot of fun with that, I think.
Oh, most definitely. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. Thanks for being here, everybody.
Take care.